Well, I'm not just smiling like this because it's a beautiful afternoon, but I am smiling like this because the afternoon just got more beautiful. The reason is we were tracking something and we found him, and you might have seen him already. I'm wondering if you have. If you haven't, picture perfect position up in the tree, absolutely stunning. One or two game drives just joining us as well. We were very lucky. We found one of his tracks on top of our car track, so we knew he was close by. Checked the waterhole again, came back here. We found him where he's got a little bit of food left. Takes him again. He's got the game drives coming in. Janko, will you take over the lock for me? So it's you and Lex, and then yours is coming, but he's far away, and I'm not sure where Ephraim is. Always exciting when you find them. We came back past here, and at first I think Brian and I were trying so hard to find this leopard, obviously from the fresh track showing us that he was close by. And we first thought we spotted him in a different tree. It wasn't it, and we thought, oh, you know what, we're trying too hard. We must just let it go. We might not find him this afternoon. And then a second later we saw him. Very happy moment when that happens. I'm just going to move a little bit just to make space for these other guys as well. Guys, you can just see the shutters go. He's actually just trying to find a comfortable spot. Whoa! For a second I thought he was going to fall. Not that leopards... Well, not never. I have actually seen leopard fall out of a tree a few times, but this is not the most regal pose I've ever seen.
Not into Little Gary. Little Gary, not.
What is he looking at? Oh, what something. Okay. Maybe he's just being a little bit silly. Guys, I must tell you, maybe this is your first game drive. Firstly, I'm really glad you found us and that you're on game drive with us, because it's such a great thing to do. But if this is your first, or one of your first few drives, and you've never experienced this, this is about as good as it gets when it comes to seeing a leopard. Beautiful light. We've really got nice light up there. I mean, we're sitting almost in the shadows already. He's a particularly beautiful cat, this as well. He's a young male, about 2.5 years old. Literally about 2.5 years coming up. I think the estimated date of birth was around the 10th of December. I remember that date quite easily because that's my birthday. So around about that time, so it's the 8th today, I would say that's a pretty close estimate. So 2.5 years or so. Oh, look at that face. He's in his sort of most beautiful stage. I mean, a leopard male, when they get older, 5, 6, 7 years old, when they mature, they're still beautiful, but they get a little bit bulky. They get a bit sort of almost rough looking, which they are. But at this age, 2 years, 3 years, up to about 4 years, they're at their most beautiful. The proportions, the coat is still perfect. Not many scars yet from fights. You know, as they get older, they have to fight a lot for territorial benefits and reasons, and hunts. You know, warthog that gets a tusk into you, and impala that gets a hoof into you. So we are really looking at, you know, if you had to imagine a perfect leopard sighting, you might imagine a 2.5-year-old male born from a beautiful female, big male as a father, and then you could maybe imagine him in a beautiful tree with a perfect light at the right angle, and you'd be pretty much sitting with what we're looking at right now.
Are you copying me?
Oh, I was just talking the last few minutes about how beautiful the setting is, but you must realize that the light alone is spectacular. We've got a very special light this afternoon, a little bit of a haze on the western horizon. It looks like he's looking at something. Maybe just trying to find a more comfortable spot. He's looking down towards the right. Oh, there he's moving again. Maybe. Oh, okay. There's something. I don't know if you're going to see it. So we tucked into the bushes here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
You're well spotted. Look at that. It's a sleeping hyena. Luckily he's got an ear that flicks, otherwise we wouldn't see him. Perfectly hidden in there. This is one of the hyenas of the clan that lives in this area, so maybe just keeping an eye out here. Now, if that food falls, the hyena will grab it. Look at that. The hyena's eyes are up, ears are up, because the leopard has moved. You'll see it just now. He's gone back to eating again. Good question, Anthony. It's so nice when people pay close attention and see things and notice things and ask themselves questions as well. Anthony, you're just wondering, why was that leopard breathing so hard? It's a combination of things. First and foremost, his belly is really full. Because his belly is full now, these guys can eat a lot more than we can in one sitting. In other words, a leopard, when he's hungry, he can eat quite a lot of meat. Lions can eat up to 20% of their own body weight. For a leopard, oh, almost there was a piece that was falling, but luckily it's attached to the carcass. That would get the hyena's attention. So a leopard like this, I mean, he's not massive yet. I would guess him around 50 kilograms, give or take. So he could probably eat 8 or 10 kilograms of food if he's hungry in one go. So the belly gets literally very full. But this is good experience. You see, this leopard has learned now over the last 2.5 years that you don't want your food to fall, because that's going to get the hyenas under you. So he's just readjusting, remaneuvering that food. I think one small piece fell, so the hyena might come just now. So Anthony, just to come back to your question, so his belly is very full, so his diaphragm, which is helping him to breathe, can't move as deep, so he can't breathe as deeply. It's just physically not the space for it. He's taking shallower breaths, and then also he's quite hot by now. We'll see in a few minutes if we can move perhaps, but at the moment, because we got this perfect view from where he was lying down, we sort of tucked ourselves into a little bush here. So we're just going to sit here for now and just see. He might not eat for that long. Let's just see what he gets up to. Now, if you're wondering what he's eating, I mentioned earlier that it was a kudu that he caught, but you know what's remaining now. He's got a little bit of the rib cage, you might see some of it, and then he's getting into the skin and sort of the loose meat around that. Most of the meat now is finished, so he's down to the sort of the sinews and the last bits and pieces. With a little bit of luck, this might keep him through to tomorrow, so it would be great if we could find him here tomorrow morning still, but he is getting towards the end of it. Depends on how seriously he wants to utilize all this food. They can eat the skin as well, but at the same time he's a proficient hunter by now, so he won't necessarily eat all of the skin. That might be left for the vultures or the hyenas. Keep an eye on his tail as well. When he's moving, leopards have got very thick muscular tails. There's quite a lot of muscle tissue in the tail itself, much more so than with a lion or a cheetah. And you'll see when he moves, that tail is used as a counterweight or a balance very effectively. They're incredibly agile up in the trees, like acrobats, and the tail plays a big role in that, so keep an eye on it. We'll see what he gets up to.
Starting to get some brown. Did you get pale, what's that called, pale fawn? Darker fawn.
Here's another hyena. Two hyenas now.
Age as well.
You could say the hyenas are circling, since there's no vultures. Connie partly answered that question just now, but there is actually a bigger question or a bigger answer attached to that as well. Connie, you're just wondering what is left of the kudu. Look at this. The hyena is wondering exactly the same thing, Connie. The hyena would love to know what is left of the kudu, because the hyena would like a piece as well. In the end, we all work together in the bush. You know, everyone needs to get a piece of the action, so to speak. So in this specific case with the leopard, a bit of skin, a little bit of meat, a little bit of the rib cage. That's what's left with the leopard up in the tree there, and that's what the hyena is hoping is going to fall down to it. But the kudu as a whole, almost all of it has been eaten. The first night after the kill, the hyena clan that lived not very far from here, less than a mile, probably 800 meters or a kilometer or so, 3/4 mile from here, they stole most of the carcass. The carcass as a whole was too big for the leopard to get up into a tree, but lucky for him, he'd managed to get a separate piece of it, either by chance or by design, but I think probably more by chance, that he could hide from the hyenas, get it up a tree, and he's been moving that around from sort of one tree to the next. This one is a good tree. I think this is where he's going to finish it off.
So if you're on the page here, that picture is showed you this.
So we've had from the kudu, we've had the whole hyena clan getting benefit, including the little ones, and then of course the leopard himself as well. And even if he leaves the last remaining bits of bone and skin up in the tree, and there's no vultures that find it, and there's no hyenas that can climb up there, or anything else that eats it up there, it will still not go to waste. The insects, the ants, they will make a big meal out of it as well. So nothing goes to waste. It all just sort of returns to different aspects of the surroundings. Fantastic setting, it really is. Even using the stick behind his, sort of there at the base of the tail to balance him. So moving very carefully. Experience is a great thing, and we have talked about it a bit, but basically over the last few minutes as he's been eating, we saw him once readjust the carcass, make sure it's not falling off the tree, and you can just see that he's working about it slowly and calmly. There's no rush for him. He knows that he's got the food, and he's learned through experience. As a young leopard, I'm sure he would have sometimes rushed things a bit, and when you rush it, the carcass falls out of the tree, and when it falls out, the hyenas grab it and it's gone. That's it. So he knows that if he takes his time, takes it slow, that food stays here. And there is a big benefit in that I think many of us knows. Over time, experience teaches you things that you can't learn other than with spending the time. Dropping the proverbial ball, dropping the carcass, and you see it run away with the hyena. Next time you're going to try not to drop it. I did say we're going to try and move, but we've got such a great seat now, and he's going to eat for a while, but then he's going to turn around again and he's going to walk straight towards us down that branch. It'll be beautiful to see. As I know you can hear it, but it sort of serves as a little exclamation mark as well, sort of to show you how extremely happy people are to be here. We've got a couple of other game drive vehicles sitting with us, and a few of those people are very, very big into their photography, looking at the fantastic camera lenses and gear they've got with them. And this truly is what people spend not only lots of money for, but lots of time for, lots of planning for, lots of passion for, to experience this very moment that we're sharing at the moment. You can just hear the shutters going, capturing those happy memories. A dream for many people. Sometimes almost not imaginable to see a leopard in the wild, in a beautiful tree with the stunning light of the late afternoon, the birds calling and hyenas just waiting underneath. Stunning. Sun hasn't quite set, but we've got a little bit of a hazy sky towards the west. What a privilege to be able to see this, to share this, to experience this. Whoa, you must be careful. It's dangling. Hey, you see that quick foot to catch it? Keep in mind, guys, there's 2 hyena around the tree here. They're patiently waiting. Both of them are sleeping. You can't really see much of them, but they are flat hyena. But if that carcass drops, they'll be there before it hits the ground properly. Guys, speaking of the beautiful light, this is the time of day when so much can happen. It's always good to check the waterholes, always good to look around, and I think that's what we should do right now with HT. We'll see you back here in a bit.
Well, that's not bad, is it? Is that a beautiful scene? A proper African waterhole. We've got guinea fowl vocalizing there. We've got Egyptian geese just coming down. Each waterhole is moved towards the end of our day. Now today, folks, we've got a situation where we're going to have to cut the drive short by about 35 minutes. And the reason for that, and I know you'll understand, I know it's not ideal, but we have to cut it short because we have to do some technical work that requires us to do it at exactly this time. So you know, you on the back of our vehicle, our regular safari guests are number one, and you know that we'd never do this unless we really had to, but it requires us to do it at exactly this time of the day. So a huge apology from us, but at 5:25 we're going to have to come to close tonight, and then we'll be back normal time tomorrow. But we are just doing that to make some technical adjustments. But what a beautiful sight that is. I need to take a photograph of that, I think. Just need to take a little photograph of that because that's just too beautiful. So I want to give you a sensory update as well. Just giving myself a little bit of a couple of shots here. Okay folks, I'm going to leave you with that beautiful sight, but we're going to cross over to Steph, which is an incredible colour or facet of our safari live here, walking trails with Steph and Scott, and he's got something really interesting to show you in the long grass. I'll see you just now.
Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to the Sunset Bushwalk with myself, Stephen and Scott behind the camera. And it's so fantastic to be out here in the bush, and it's late afternoon already. We've had a fantastic afternoon really, and we've decided to come close to a drainage line this afternoon and follow up on some male leopard tracks that we had here this morning. So far we haven't been lucky with the leopard tracks or the leopard, to be quite honest. We have been sitting in the bush trying to listen to the sounds around us, driving endlessly around the roads here and looking for where he may have come out onto the road. And so far we haven't been lucky. Now, for those of you new to the experience of a bushwalk, you'll notice that I have a rifle here, and it's a policy that we have a rifle when we're far away from the lodge and far away from vehicles. Essentially, it's a piece of safety equipment similar to a car's seat belt or an airbag. You know, the hope is that we never have to use it, but I, for one, am quite glad that it's here. Now, when we're walking around in the bush, quite often what you want to try and do is look at the animals. They tell you what's going on. And we came to this very spot where I am right now. And some nyala, which is an antelope species that we get here, we're staring quite intently into this patch of grass where I'm sitting. And you'd never guess that I'm sitting literally within touching distance of one of Africa's super predators. And Scott's going to be zooming in on her right now. Have a look at that. That is I've only found African rock pythons during the day in the open like this less than 5 times. So for me, it's a very, very rare sighting to see. She's big, and by big I mean she's probably around about 10 to 15 feet long. She's a very, very robust, bulky snake. Unless you really pester these animals, unless you try and pick them up, which is not really our policy here at Wild Earth, we don't disturb animals in their natural environment. We don't pick them up. We don't chase them away from where they are. We like to watch animals in there, just doing what they do. Now, you might be wondering, am I bothering her by sitting quite close, speaking like I'm speaking? And the answer to that is no. She feels very safe in her patch of grass here. In actual fact, if she was going to move, the nyala would have chased her. She feels safe in her piece of grass, and she cannot hear a thing that I'm saying. Snakes are completely deaf, so she can't hear us talking, and at the distance that Scott's standing, you actually can't see her whatsoever. So, as you notice, she's As you notice, you'll see that she's actually lying head to tail, with the tail that's stripy, they're quite boldly green colored stripy bit that she's got under her tail. Now this would be an ambush position for her. She will wait. She's right close to a tree that could be browsed on by nyala, and she'd wait in this position. Nyala, bushbuck, impala, duiker, steenbuck, smaller mammals like hares and mongoose would all be part of the menu of this snake. I've even watched snakes this big on documentaries try and take things as big as male impala, which is ambitious, but she's fully capable of being able to kill an impala. Now, they don't have any venom. They just have very sharply recurved teeth. Their teeth, in actual fact, are recurved, look very similar to what my finger position is at the moment. Very sharply recurved teeth and a double row. We've only got one row of teeth from our molars all the way through to the front. They've got 2 rows of teeth. Can you imagine trying to find enough toothpaste to brush all of them? The teeth are continually replaced throughout her life. So it doesn't matter if one gets pulled out in a struggle or one falls out, because they've got these teeth that fold in from the bottom and are continually replaced. She'll go through many hundreds of teeth during her life. She then catch the prey. She doesn't have any venom, so she's not going to be injecting anything into the prey and then letting it go. She's actually going to be holding onto it and then wrapping her coils around it. She's going to be wrapping her body around it, and then using that immense strength that they have to slowly squeeze the prey. And it's actually quite a humane passing, if I could say that. The animal really from an oxygen point of view, conscious quite quickly, and then the snake moves its mouth around to the head and will start to swallow the prey face first. And one big meal will last her season. She'll be able to take a small nyala or a small bushbuck and she'll eat it, and then she'll go into rest for the rest of the season. She'll go under a bush or into a hole in the ground, and that's where she'll stay for the whole.
This is a tree climbing hyena.
He's stuck on the tree now.
Oh, awesome, guys. Sorry, we're just laughing at the hyenas here. And from the woodhole and buffalo, great python. It's quite late in the season to see a python, so that's very exciting. Stefan on the walk, but the leopard moved a bit. Some of the food fell, not all of it, but some of it. And very active hyenas grabbing a few snippets while they can, so they're happy. Well, lots of things happening. Currently back with the leopard, these hyenas are getting more active because the leopard dropped some of the food. They were up in a flash, a couple of snacks. They're happy, hoping for more. You can see the leopard just looking at them. If you've missed the last few minutes, we also had a great python with Stefan on the walk. Python, of course, largest snake you get out here. You can get them very, very big. I know of about a 6-meter one that was seen here years ago. 6 meters, that's about what is it, about 42 foot, something like that. No, that's not right. 2 meters 7, yeah, 35, 40 foot. Sorry guys. Not quite as graceful as a leopard when it comes to jumping, but this is brilliant. This is absolutely awesome. Now, patience is important if you're the hunter, but also if you're the scavenger, and this is both of these species at the moment have to keep patience in mind. The hyenas, well, as you saw from that jump, they're not going to jump up into that tree anytime in the next 1,000 years, so they've got to wait. The leopard's got to be patient enough to not move too fast up in that tree, so if he moves too quick and he drops the food, then that's gone. So patience is a great virtue, not only for the hunter when hunting, but also for the hunter once he's got his food. And for the hyenas, in a way you could say they're hunting. They might not be hunting an animal, but they have found some food and they must just wait until they get some of it. And there's the point made. Experience works. Wait, those ears will tell him if the food falls on the ground. The leopard's moving, what's he doing? Oh, he's going to the view spot. Oh, just look at that. I mean, this is the stuff that I'd like to say that National Geographic documentaries dream about. Filmmakers can wait for weeks or months to have this scenario. Here we are sharing it as it happens live. Anything can happen. I mean, this leopard could fall out, although he's not going to. Leopard don't just fall out of trees. That tail is too good a balancing tool. Experience is too much. But I'm being a little bit silly here, but it really is. This is the kind of thing that people could spend days and weeks and months looking for, to tell this story. And to be sitting right in the middle of it, able to enjoy it as it unfolds is just something very special.
Yeah.
It almost looks like that tree was made for the leopard. They put the leopard there and then they put the tree in under him. Perfect place for the food, perfect place to lie and groom. Doesn't get much better than this. That's how hyenas camouflage themselves. They stand behind a tree. So guys, I know I'm being a bit sort of tongue-in-cheek jokes here as well, but I'm just so happy to be sitting here, and this is something that to see this, to experience it, is just beyond amazing. I love spotted hyena as well. Such amazing animals, more than people sometimes realize. That's the corner of the vehicle there, just for interest's sake. That's how close we are. We are sitting also quite close, just sort of in the bigger picture of everything here. Yeah, we've snuck ourselves right under a bush here, and the hyena is there behind. You almost can't see him. This is where we're sitting. In fact, Brian, from me, I can see you, but I can't see Brian very well. He's behind the branches. So we really are right in the thick of things here. It's just a note, I forgot to mention to it earlier. I was actually going to tell you, and then I just got obviously excited about what we're seeing right here. But we're going to end the game drive a little bit earlier tonight. There's a few tests we want to do, just sort of dot a few I's and cross a few T's, if you know what I mean, for the weekend. And we will be closing down a little bit earlier tonight. The game drive will end at 5:30, but don't worry, it's all good. You're going to have a spectacular time with us tomorrow. Copy that. Mr. Hess,
Yeah,
is it possible that you can make space for me to come out here?
absolutely.
I've got to go to quarantine. Yeah, share because they've shared with us. So we're going to maneuver a little bit. But what an afternoon. Sure. Well, it's difficult for me to decide what would be my highlight for the day because it's been such a great day. The wild dogs this morning were fantastic. Seeing and then just the views we had earlier. When that leopard was lying on the bush looking right into highlight for the day, if I could go back and re-look at it, would be this leopard this afternoon, especially that one when he was looking at us. Just it was too beautiful, the light and everything. And then of course it's always funny to see hyena jumping and a little bit of skirmish and noise, and just lots of things going on there, so that was lovely. I'm going to have to move along a little bit. I wonder what that python is up to. I heard that Stefan saw a python, but now I've seen big, and then I've seen pythons in my life that are this big in circumference. So they can be quite a large difference from a little python to a big python. I mean, you get a python big enough to catch an impala. That's how big they can get. And I'm sure we'll have another look there just now. We're going to end it in about 10 minutes or so. But the leopard was sort of doing what it was doing. It was finishing off the food, and there was another vehicle that were really keen to come and see them as well. So we decided to make some space for them. And I was just talking about it, how special it is to share sightings as well. That really is something that the more people that see this, even this afternoon, it's so fantastic that so many of you guys are getting involved with the social media aspect of this as well. That you must realize that you're part of this experience. And I know I say this, but for those of you that have done it for a while, you know this. For maybe this is your first drive, your second drive, and you're still not even sure what's going on here. You don't want to ask a question because you think maybe it's not real. By the way, you're welcome to. My name is Peter Pretorius. If you want to ask me a question, send it in, #SafariLive, and I'd gladly say hello. It's such a nice thing to do this and to share. And what I'm getting to, before I interrupt myself there, is that the fact that you guys are part of this, not only in the experience of the moment, not only in what we just shared there, but everything that comes from that. The fact that you maybe go tell your parents about it when you go home from school. I'm just thinking about Jackie's class from earlier, or the fact that you call your grandkids when they come visit and say, quickly come look at this, let me show you what a leopard looks like in Africa, and grandmother and grandchild can sit there and love the wildlife together. You guys are posting so many pictures on Facebook for us, and Twitter, and everything that goes along with that. What is that track? Monkeys from earlier. And the YouTube videos, it's so amazing. Some of the videos from years ago, some of the videos from minutes ago, some of the videos from seconds ago. All the sharing, I think, is such a tool. Not only is it a good thing, not only does it make us feel good because it's positive wildlife, but also the more people that are made aware of this, the more people that enjoy this, that come to love this, even if they can't come to Africa, if they don't have the time or the possibility to climb in a plane and fly to Africa, but they do this and they become passionate about it and they tell their friends and they share pictures. The more that happens, the more we will have wildlife like this out in nature to enjoy. I was going to say out in the nature, because HT and myself, we often joke about this. He's an Australian accent, he lives in London now. I have a strong Afrikaans accent, I guess. Experience and enjoy things like this. Now, I'm going to try and do my timing in such a way that it works out for our other test. This is also that special time of day, or that special time of night. This is also that special time of day, or that special time of night. That's what's great about this time. The proper term for it is called crepuscular time, or crepuscular activity, would be animals that are active around this time. End of day, beginning of night, the sun is set but it's not dark, so it's sort of day and night, and that's a changeover from night to day in the morning, or from day to night in the evening. It's such an exciting time in the bush. It feels great as well. The air in your skin feels great, the way you breathe it, the smells, the sounds. I can hear Cokie Franklin in the distance. Testicular for little birds, there they go, they're tiny, you won't see them. All these different sounds and songs and celebrations of life. I do love this time, and obviously, just coming back from seeing a leopard, you tend to be a little bit sort of buzzing from it. So it is a lovely time, and I'm going to say goodbye to you very shortly. As I said, we are closing down a little bit early tonight, but I promise you, tomorrow night you can have a lovely time with us. Don't miss the game drives tomorrow, please guys. It's weekend, it's going to be great. It's Mother's Day on Sunday, and we've got 2 spectacular drives to look forward to. But then again, every drive is spectacular. I told you in the beginning of the drive, I promise you there's going to be a surprise, and I think we had one. Finding a leopard is always a great surprise. We are not far from camp here, so I'm just going to turn around like this a little bit, past the tree, past the termite mound. I love termite mounds. And I'm going to say goodbye. Now I am going to Just let's put that to my pound in the back. Guys, quick goodbye. It's been an awesome day. Thank you so much. It was amazing. And as I said, please don't miss the drives tomorrow because it's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to it. And from myself, Peter Pretorius, and Brian behind the camera, guys, on the vehicle here. It's been awesome. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.